Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be able to say to you, welcome to Channel 4.
Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and we're celebrating a very special birthday today. Hot off the heels of the BBC's 100th anniversary, we've got another British channel that is celebrating a big birthday, and that of course is Channel 4, which today celebrates its 40th anniversary. So Channel 4 started way back in 1982 on the 2nd of November. It started in the late afternoon, early evening, and was quite a big deal at the time. You know, Channel 4 was created to sort of be different from the established norms that were set by the three main channels of the day, that of course being BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV. Channel 4, certainly in its early years, say the first 10, maybe 15 years, was constantly bringing out programming that was very different, that was very groundbreaking for its day. It had a lot of defining moments in those early years, and even today, some would argue maybe not as much, but it still puts out programs that challenge like societal norms, that challenge opinions, that face uncomfortable truths, things like that. And they also have programs such as My Massive Cock. So, you know, we've got to take the peaks and troughs. Many will remember, of course, that the very first programme on Channel 4 wasn't necessarily revolutionary or groundbreaking at all. It was, of course, Countdown, which, as of this recording, is still going on 40 years later, thousands of episodes later, and still remains very popular. So whilst maybe it wasn't, you know, genre-defining or groundbreaking or really different from the norm, it's remained a constant hit. And one of the celebrations for the 40th is in Countdown itself. It's celebrating its 40th anniversary with guest hosts, including Baroness Floella Benjamin, who I believe got a start in kids' TV back in the day, Sir Trevor MacDonald, the famous newsreader, Reverend Richard Coles, who I believe used to be part of the Communards back in the 80s, and Moira Stewart hosts the iconic show. So this is part of the Truth and Dare season, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Part of the article says, of course, Countdown is the channel's longest running show and the first show ever broadcast on Channel 4 when it launched 40 years ago in November 1982. So all of these special broadcasters or presenters are coming in. They'll each take on a week-long hosting stint throughout the month, joining lexicographer Susie Dent and arithmetical whiz Rachel Riley on the show. So if you're a Countdown fan, this might be quite exciting for you. Really special season, of course. And a nice little touch here right at the bottom. It says that Paul, now I'm going to get this surname wrong, so I do apologise. Is it Koya or Koa? I'm not sure, but it says 40 years ago to the day that Channel 4 started broadcasting, Paul, the first Channel 4 continuity announcer who introduced Channel 4's first ever programme, Countdown, will return to introduce the show once again. So that's a lovely little touch, I think, that the same continuity announcer from 40 years prior is going to introduce it again. I do wonder as well if they're going to use the original 1982 ident. I think if they do, that would be a really nice tribute. Not much is known at the minute about how Channel 4 is celebrating ident-wise, whether they're bringing old ones back or if they're adding a tagline to the current ones, but I'd love for that to happen. But again, I already made a video a few months ago, which you can check out, where I was debating, you know, what are Channel 4 going to do for their 40th anniversary? Because that's quite a big one, you know, it doesn't come around every so often, and for a broadcaster to last that long is pretty impressive, especially with the remit that Channel 4 has. But we know a bit more now. So this was posted in August of 2022. Channel 4 announces Truth and Dare season, 40 years of pushing boundaries. The article states, Channel 4 was born different. It has pioneered diverse, experimental and challenging programming since 1982, 40 years of pushing boundaries in every genre. It has forever been on a mission to make mischief and noise and dares to tell the truth about modern Britain and how we live. To mark this important milestone, an impressive roster of programming has been commissioned that speaks to its radical, irreverent and iconoclastic roots. So it says each of these new shows in the Truth and Dare season are set to do what Channel 4 was created for, to give voice to the unheard, say the unsayable, and show the unseen. Each connect with the channel's core values and vividly reflect its purpose in 2022. So let's have a look at some of the programs that they're having in this season. There's Art Trouble, where Jimmy Carr presents an arts event like no other. You can read about what it's going to be there. We've also got Frankie Boyle Monarchy, where the very controversial comedian turns his eye to the state of the British monarchy and its future. And because it's Frankie Boyle, if you're familiar with him at all, I'm sure it's going to be quite eyebrow-raising if you are a royalist, shall we say. Too Large for Love is a documentary that follows the experiences of the hidden minority of men who have an extra large penis. Now, I know this this obviously gets a lot of laughs. Is this the same? This has to be, surely. This was later retitled to My Massive Cock, surely. This has to be the same thing. No? Well, if you're interested, then, again, Channel 4, no other broadcaster would do this, so you got Channel 4 to thank. The return of Friday Night Live, which is going to be hosted by Ben Elton. The legendary comedy show ran from 1985 to 1988 and launched a plethora of world-class comedy talent, including Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders, Harry Enfield, Lee Evans, Joe Brand and Julian Clary. Now, for one night only, Ben is back as ringmaster to unite the hottest new wave stand-ups and character comedians alongside some original show legends in a dangerously live night of comedy. Love a bit of live television, so I actually might check that one out when it comes back. That sounds like a lot of fun. We've got The 80s, The Future Is Now, which is a 3-part documentary series telling the story of 80s Britain, telling it in a new way. Yeah, I mean, I love the 1980s culture, so this documentary will certainly appeal to me. Then you have Afghan porn star. I'm definitely going to get demonetized, aren't I? Where we have 28-year-old Khadija Patman, is better known as Yasmina Ali, atop Afghanistan. You can read it there. With millions of viewers on a certain website and legions of fans across other certain websites. And they make tens and thousands a month. So, that's a very modern thing going on now. So that'll be very interesting to a lot of people for sure. Another program you have is What is a Woman, which, of course, is looking at the very contentious issue at the minute that's dominating a lot of social media circles. So, again, if that's something you want to check in and weigh in on. I mean, I believe, trans rights are human rights. Trans people should be free to be who they want to be and all that. So, but, if you want to watch this, then absolutely, it's there. And finally, the probably crown piece that everyone's talking about is Prince Andrew the Musical. Oh boy. Kieran Hodgson, who's a great actor and comedian, by the way, leads a cast of comics in a satirical send-up of the life and times of Prince Andrew, set to a musical score. It's written and starring Hodgson as the Prince, with original music co-written by Freddie Tapner, and the story centres on the key events, relationships and controversies of Andrew's life, including a reimagining of the former HRH's bombshell interview with Emily Maitlis, in which the man behind the headlines faces the music. So it's 60 minutes. This will be quite something, I'm sure. This is going to ruffle some feathers again. If you're a royalist, you're going to probably be very annoyed, but I'm all up for this. So yeah, so that is the Truth and Dare season. So I like that they've made this season of programming, which again is honouring Channel 4's original remit, that idea of always producing content that is different, that you're not going to find anywhere else, that is pushing boundaries, that is asking difficult questions. I think that is absolutely what Channel 4 should still be doing in 2022. I mean, after all the hoo-ha of, Nadine Dorries, the former culture secretary, wanting to sell off Channel 4 to be more quote-unquote like Netflix and Amazon, I still maintain Channel 4 doesn't need to be like that. Channel 4 has never existed to compete with mega corporations. Channel 4 has existed to produce tons of, original UK programming, whether it's drama series, comedy series, live shows, documentaries. It's always been a sort of a cultural zenith for that. And, not everyone's going to like every program for sure, but they like to take the risks. They're willing to take the risks. So the Truth and Dare season, that's a big hit with me. But I notice a lot of people still complaining, like, why is there not more? And again, I think similar to the BBC's 100th, these channels, they aren't the mega corporations that have millions or billions of pounds to spend. I think they're doing what they can within their budget, and I think especially this for Channel 4, since it's honouring their remit, what they stand for, I think this is a good step forward. There is other stuff going on as well. At the BFI in London, there is Channel 4 40 Years of Revolution, where they're going to be showcasing radical first 10 years on air and the spirit that's inspired it over the decades. So if you're in London, or if you can get to the BFI for that event, that's, that'll be something for you for sure. But yeah, Channel 4 turns 40. I mean, my experience with Channel 4 maybe isn't as in-depth as a lot of people. I first came to it as a kid in the early 2000s watching mainly The Simpsons, which I think it still airs at 6 p.m, which, that was the cultural touchstone, wasn't it? Simpsons at 6 p.m, that was the one. But, as I've gotten older, there's a lot of great documentaries I watch on Channel 4, a lot of great original series. It's a Sin being one of them over the last few years. That was a fantastic series that would never have got made had Channel 4 not stepped up and said, yeah, we're willing to help tell this story. So yeah, and recently Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, actually a fantastic television version of the original web series. I think Channel 4 has done a great job with that in terms of keeping the creative vision but also giving it a bit more of a budget. It's just fantastic. So again, I think Channel 4 on the whole, yes, it's had some missteps. For me, I've never been a fan of Big Brother, which of course Channel 4 had for over 10 years. But again, at the time, I guess no one else wanted to do it, so Channel 4 took its remit and ran with it. So my closing thoughts on it really are, maybe it's not what people wanted, the celebrations. I mean, if you actually look at the Channel 4 schedule, there's not like a special program on the 2nd of November itself. There is an episode of Countdown, of course, which we know will have that continuity announcement and maybe a former ident, who knows. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be any necessarily like big special program on the 2nd of November itself honouring Channel 4, which for a lot of people might be a bit disappointing. But then the BBC didn't have anything on the 18th of October. They waited several days, so it is what it is. But in summary, I want to wish Channel 4 a very happy 40th birthday. Thank you for constantly pushing the various boundaries in terms of what can be shown on UK television, and may you still continue to do that for the next 40 years and beyond. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it and let me know in the comments down below, what was your introduction to Channel 4? Can you remember your first memories with it? And if you can, what has been your favourite memory of Channel 4? I'd love to know. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Hux Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Stanton, The Broken Kick Sumanoid, and to Bose Krotz, our AMTV staff members.